love everyone's eyes and ears to be open for is thinking about your networks, your potentially your companies. Where is there opportunity for collaboration? Where is there opportunity for input? Where is there opportunity for introductions? One thing that I have personally very deeply learned on my journey is when we are generous with our network, as long as the people we are being generous with are values aligned, and also sharing similar missions, or at least an ecological altruistic mission for the world, then there's a reciprocity that is really unmatched when we open our hearts and open our networks to support each other to really rise. And there could be someone in our network that for Adam and Kate and Nat can open massive doors, and it takes us a whole of 10 seconds to make that introduction. And I can say through the lens of love that will come back to you times 10 when you do that, coming from the right place in our heart. So that's the other thing I'd really love us to be present to. And of course, that means Adam, Kate, Nat, make sure that you are really clear about what you need, what's on your wish list, what are the priorities of your company. If that's not in the pitch that you've kind of thought through, feel free to have a more kind of open, general conversation about that on the back end of your pitch. Any questions or comments? Awesome. Who's going to go first? Paper, scissors, rock.
I mean, we're happy to go first. I'm not shy about this stuff. Nat, do you want to? Should we rock, paper, scissors it, or I like ladies first, but it's up to you.
I made my PowerPoint last night and recorded on Loom, so I have it all ready.
The last time we joined, we spoke first, so I don't know if how many of you folks we met, but we're happy to. I would love to hear what you. Let's hear yours, if that's okay.
Okay, I'm fine with that. I'm super excited. So, because this is my vision that I see for humanity, so I'm excited for other people to see what I see. And Nicole, I don't know if you have the link in email, otherwise they have to have you share the screen, or share. But if you can just play my link, that's cool too. Then you don't need to add me as a co-host. Oh, there, you just did.
I'm so happy to make you co-host, which will give you the permission to share your screen, and then you can change it as feels good for you.
Share. I think that my screen is already shared. Maybe I'm not sure. I don't see where it says share screen, or it says share is already on. So I think that maybe, can you see my screen?
Not yet, but if you click the share screen, you'll then have an option. So you go share screen, and then it will say desktop 1, and you go share, and then we'll be able to see what you're seeing.
I'm on my phone. I don't know if that makes a difference. I don't know how to get it to share this.
You can do it on your phone, but it might be a little hard for you to navigate on your phone, in which case, Cass, do you reckon you could be the champion, and we can do your presentation for you, Nat, and you can just tell us when you need a slide change.
Yeah, if you
I don't know.
If you've got it, Nat, absolutely. If not, I just need screen share abilities, and I can share your presentation for you.
I don't know where I can't. I'm pushing share on the bottom of my phone, and it doesn't. I don't know. It's a green share button, and I don't know what.
Hey Nat, we'll do the presentation for you. Cass, I think
that's why I sent it to you, so that I didn't have to do all this.
There we go. No worries. I have the capability of doing that. So
okay, cool. Thank you so much.
No worries. I'm just pulling it up now.
Your co-host, Cass, you good? Yeah.
Yes. So let me know if you guys can see the Loom screen.
Are we watching the Loom, or are we watching Nat do it live?
No, it's my Loom video. I just recorded it last night, so it's all ready to go. So, but yep, I can see it.
You guys got it? Okay. All right.
Okay. Maybe just go full screen, Kat.
Super hello, my name is Natalie Foltz and I'm in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and this is my mission and vision. My mission is to bring unconditional love, dignity, and gratitude to all sentient beings on this planet and planets beyond. I have a view of looking at the Earth from a distance, like you see in the picture. That's how I look at our planet. Right now, there's about 385,000 babies born on Earth every day, and that's about 16,041 babies every hour, and about 267 babies every minute, and about 150,000 people die every day. I want to live in a more loving, peaceful world. So we know from neuroscience that our main belief systems about the world and how we view ourselves in it, as well as our subconscious programming, are all created by the time we are 7 years old. And 90% of our brain growth occurs in the first 5 years of life. So we can create more loving, nurturing environments on Earth for all of us. An example would be the bioceramic ecodome houses that they're building, and having loving communities with people nurturing the children. So there's a biologist, Australian biologist, Jeremy Griffith, and he has the human condition solved. He watched the Bobono mothers give their undivided attention to their babies. And when I was in Mexico, I saw this beautiful statue of the Mayan mother breastfeeding her baby. There's me breastfeeding my daughter, Rosanna, Evolution, 14 years ago. And there's my mom breastfeeding me 46 years ago. Woohoo! I want to see more water births on Earth with lotus births, where you keep the umbilical cord attached and it'll naturally dry up and fall off within 5 to 7 days after birth. I want to see more extended breastfeeding, more baby wearing, and more co-sleeping on the planet to give our children the best outcomes for the rest of their lives. I want to respect the dignity of every soul born on this planet. And if we could stop ear piercing, stop vaccinating, stop male circumcision, stop female genital or clitoral mutilation, that would help our babies have a much better quality of life and have more natural births. All of that plays a huge factor in how our babies are developing as they are growing up on the planet. So learning German New Medicine in 2018, I learned German New Medicine, and that really helped me understand why we have symptoms to begin with. And so a lot of these outdated practices don't need to be done, like vaccination, for instance, because we're never catching anything from anybody. If you get an overwhelming situation occur, you're going to get a symptom when you go into the healing phase. So German New Medicine is not only a new paradigm of medicine, it's also a new consciousness. And so I'm really excited for more people to learn about that on Earth, because then we can treat our babies much better than we are now. So in summary, I grew up on a dairy and grain farm, and I have given over 19,000 Uber and Lyft rides so far. So this is what has given me this vision. It's from my life experiences. And there are many ways to help love and nurture our species even more. And I have a Breastfeeding Beyond Belief course also that I created for the world to empower mothers. And my heart's desire is to create more loving, nurturing communities so we can all be thriving on planet Earth together, sharing more love and peace and joy with one another. Thank you for listening. I love you.
Well done, Nat. How did it
Thank you
feel?
so much.
How did it feel to be able to share that with some people?
Feels exhilarating. So
Yeah.
thank you for the space to allow that to unfold.
Yeah, of course. So I'm happy to kick off questions. So my question is, what is the, if there is one, what is the vision you have to be able to share this message and have more mothers inspired to live this way now?
what is my vision to have more mothers being more empowered? Yeah.
The how, the process,
Oh,
if you've
yeah.
if you thought that far ahead, yeah.
Yeah, well, my one thought is obviously doing online connections like this with Zoom or a different platform similar to Zoom, so that you can connect many people from all over the world quickly together, so you don't have to go places. To make it as convenient as possible, I guess, to have a space where mothers can ask questions, mothers can share their stories with each other, and just inspire one another and try to find solutions to help mothers be more connected to their babies and be supported more financially and supported more in all of the ways that they're choosing to love and nurture their babies.
19,000 Uber rides. That's a serious number. What was it about the 19,000 Uber rides that allowed you to see how vast this problem is as a world? That's a pretty deep and meaningful conversation to get into with someone when they get inside your Uber.
Yes, I have had conversations with people from all over the world, and I always ask them questions about how was their childhood, where were they born, how they were treated as kids. And that's where I've learned about a lot of these things that I don't like what I see. Because in Minneapolis, we have the largest Somalian refugee population in the United States. And so they're fighting over there. And so they come here as refugees, and our state gives them 7 years of free housing to get established. And then they got to start paying taxes and stuff after that. But the Somalian community specifically, I've given many Somalian women rides because the men don't let them drive a lot of times. And then talking to them, I hear about their stories, and that's how I've learned about clitoral mutilation. And then I give a lot of the nurses rides that help deliver the babies of the Somalian women. And they have told me the horror stories from that, because when you have all that scar tissue, your skin don't stretch when you try to deliver a baby. And so I just heard all these things that I'm like, this is insane. It's absolutely insane. And so the only way we can change the world is by what you're doing with your InTruth.io app, to change those subconscious beliefs in the cultures, in that conditioning, to get them out of those patterns so they stop clitoral mutilating their girls, because it's ingrained deep in their culture. And a lot of times the moms will get shunned from the communities if they don't continue doing those practices to their young girls. And so to find safe spaces for them to escape out of that, and to help change the subconscious beliefs in the men and the people that think it's acceptable to treat babies like that, or young children. So
Fascinating. So Nat, you've sort of accumulated like listening to a lot of these stories, and it's compelled you to want to find an entrepreneurial pathway to make change in this space. Did you ever see yourself as an entrepreneur, or was this really just a calling to solve this problem that you were exposed to?
No, I've always been an entrepreneur. I used to dairy. I grew up on a dairy and grain farm in Minnesota, and I dairy and grain farmed with my dad for 16 years. So I always had that entrepreneurial spirit, because I don't like people telling me what to do. And so on the farm, I had that freedom, and that's why I like driving for Uber and Lyft. I've done that 6 years full time, because nobody's telling me what to do. My license plate says "Love to You," and I give uplifting messages to all my passengers that say "You are a gift to humanity," and I have all these different sayings. And I used to offer hugs goodbye to all my passengers before energy shift on Earth. And so I just love everybody unconditionally, because you never know what traumas we've all endured. But so I've always had a very entrepreneurial path. I'm certified as a personal trainer, and do energy healing as an emotion code and body code practitioner. So I combine that. I have an exercise program also that I launched to the world. So I just want everybody to reach their highest potential while they're here on this planet. And the less trauma we endure as children, the easier it is to live happily the rest of your life.
Well, no, I mean, I've got many more questions, but I'm just going to create space, because I'm sure everyone else does as well. We can circle back. opening it up.
I have a question. So, hi, Adam. What's like your ideal next step? Like, what are you looking for next to take like the next step in your journey to, you know, whether it be get investment or refine the pitch or identify your target audience? Like, who would be the exact ideal candidate for someone to test your platform and concept?
Well, that's where I always listen to Source Energy because I'm clairaudient. It's like I always hear the messages. Well, that's how that, and so I always wait to hear that. And I would even be interested in like getting interviewed on podcasts so that people have access to my link, because I have my breastfeeding course created. And then, you know, as that unfolds, I could have a weekly Zoom calls, you know, with new mothers to help support them in that way. And so there's lots of avenues.
I'm
Cool,
really
thank you.
interested. So sorry, Adam. I'm really interested in that. If you've got an existing product, it's definitely, you know, if you've got a user journey, an existing product, this is just a note that's already developed, or you at least have a vision for. It's definitely something, as you're communicating your idea, make sure you're making it really clear, the offering and the product and the way someone who relates to this problem can engage with you. Sorry, Adam.
No, thanks. I was just saying, thank you for that initial clarification. So getting on a podcast and, you know, just some initial exposure, like what would that take? Like, what is there like what next step can we like be accountability partners on, maybe to say like something you're afraid to do? Like, how can this group help take that next step, to take that chance and like email someone who you think might be a good voice for your platform?
Yep. One step I did take was work with I found some influencers on Instagram that are in the same kind of space with like breastfeeding your babies, water birth, stuff like that. And I reached out to them through email to ask if we could collaborate or interview each other or whatever, but I never heard back from them, because sometimes when you send emails, sometimes it doesn't go into their inbox, which, I mean, I could sit and send them 100 messages and try to maybe I didn't follow up enough. I could have followed up more or tried to keep reaching out to them. And so I did try to connect with influencers, because I was like, well, that's a good place I could start too. But it didn't unfold. I didn't hear no feedback. I didn't hear back from them.
Didn't
So
unfold yet. Y-E-T.
yeah, I do add yet to a lot of my sentences. Thank you for reminding me of that.
And it's the toughest thing to embrace, I think, because we're all like, we want to execute our ideas tomorrow, and like, we're on year 5 and we're not even close, you know? So it's like, it takes that grit, but like, if you see your vision, like my recommendation is to keep refining it and keep finding those influencers and those podcasters. And if you find a tribe who resonates with you, talk to them often, every week and repeatedly until your own vision starts going even clearer and clearer. It's like, it's the weirdest process, but when you feel a calling, you can't turn around. So like, I think everyone here gets that, right?
Yeah. What just came to me right now is it reminded me, I am the voice for the little babies that cannot voice themselves yet. I am that protective voice to protect their dignity. That is why I'm here on Earth. I know that for sure.
I saw you had your hand up just before.
Yeah, I was gonna make a suggestion. Hi everyone. One way that I found it's easier to get responses for people that you want to, like influencers and things that you want to collaborate with, is make it really clear what your request is. So, and in that process, you might want to figure out like how you want to engage with them. Perhaps you could start a podcast, and then your request to them might be, I want to interview you on my podcast, and this is what my podcast is about. And then you could have questions for them and start the discussion that way. But if you're kind of contacting people and just asking them, hey, I want to collaborate, I want to talk, I want to do something with you, then the request isn't quite as clear. They don't know what they're saying yes or no to. And then, yeah, heaps of follow-ups is really important too. But if you can refine your ask, that really helps people to know whether they're able to have the space to say yes.
Thank you for those insights. I heard you.
No worries.
Katerina.
Speaking as someone who's traveled a hell of a lot internationally, including like spending about 4 months in Africa. I think it's really important to understand when you're dealing with this, it's not, it's a very deeply ingrained issue. It's very important and something that we need to address. And it's really deeply working within those cultures, those communities, the people who, what we're dealing with is generational trauma that is passed from generation to generation to generation to generation, and it's in a pattern. And as a white Western woman, as much as we want to have the ability to change these things, if there's not this fundamental understanding of the cultures, then it's really hard to get, like, you know, they say if you have the right level, you can move anything, right? But you need to know where you can put the lever. You need to know where you can apply the pressure. You need to know in order to be able to really make change. And I think you need to reach the women in these cultures. But the thing is that the women in these cultures, they don't have power. They have very little power. And this is a big, audacious goal. I celebrate you for having this big, audacious goal. And I also want you to, I guess I want you to look at what is the thing in me that why do I need to make this change, and how can you contribute to the problem in a way that really makes a difference. And is this the thing that you really have to offer to the world? Or is there something that you might be able to bring to the world that you are able to have more influence on more people than trying to influence something so far away from you? Now, if that might be having an influence in just the refugee population in Minnesota. I used to live in Minnesota. I love Minnesota. It was before the Somalian refugees started coming in. Maybe you need to work in that, because you're going to be able to make a bigger impact if you're like directly trying to influence these women's lives. That might even be putting up something in your car that is like an emergency contact number, something that a woman can call, getting involved with crisis helplines. I just want to plant like seeds of like, what are different things where you can really feel like you're able to make a difference? Because when you don't feel like you're making a difference, it tends to be soul crushing. I want you to be able to have as big of an influence on, it may not be a million lives, it may be a few, but if you can really influence a few lives. Do you get me?
Absolutely, I get you. Even talking to some of my passengers, some of the mothers, because a lot of times the mothers will have conversations about how their birthing experience was and everything. And a lot of them are feeling like more empowered when they get out of my car and they know that they're doing what they feel is right for their baby, and not to let their family put them down or belittle them and think they're not doing it right. They know they're doing it right. And that's the most important thing. So I do feel like I've inspired a lot of women in my car also. And as we share our stories with each other, that's how we can inspire each other. And I've done that a lot. Because I didn't mention in my video, but with my 14-year-old daughter, Rosanna Evolution, she chose, I did a water birth at my parents' house with her. She chose to breastfeed till she was 7. She co-slept with me till she was 11, and I baby wore her till she was 4. And I never gave her a pacifier or a bottle, or never put her in a crib. And she was immensely happy her whole life. She never had no symptoms because I was with her, nurturing her. And I just wish more women were supported financially to be able to do that, and supported with the community and family around them to do that. And
Mhm.
so I appreciate your insights from your traveling to Africa and understanding how ingrained it is with that generational trauma. But it's like, how do we elevate our species up out of that? Which, I mean, this app that Nicole's making is just brilliant, because you got to start in the subconscious mind. And so that, I think, is going to help us a lot. So I'm really excited about that.
I think this is a really valuable point, and something that I experienced very directly in my journey of entrepreneurship, and also what I really learned working in high levels of government. That Katrina's point around what is where's the leverage? It's a very important question that I feel, you need to ask yourself as an entrepreneur at all stages of your journey, and at least have a vision for, because if you're not in that position of power right now, what's your strategy to be able to accumulate that position of power over time strategically, so that you can seek to make the change you're looking to make in the world. Now, there's a million different ways to climb a mountain. Once upon a time, I was seeking that leverage through a political position. Now I'm seeking that leverage through data. So, but there's leverage in both of those ways, but it's up to us as an entrepreneur to ask, well, where is my my position right now? What are my skill sets, and where can I accumulate that with the most ease and flow? I think that's a really valuable point. Yeah. However, we receive that in our own respective journeys. Jules, I'm just seeing that you have to jump off in a sec, and I saw you sort of nodding before. Before you jump off, I'd love to just ask, was there any wisdom that you had to share with Nat before going?
Thank you. Hello, everyone. And pardon me cutting in front of people who've had their hands up. Here's a lot of questions. I've worked with a lot of communities and set up a lot of boards and ecosystems for the last 30, 40 years, actually. And everybody's got a lot of great people here to ask and give offers, suggestions. It's really easy for us to jump into the how too fast. The how presents itself, quite like Nick was just suggesting. It starts to present itself and unfold. With regards to I've got questions and suggestions, but I'll keep them really short. Make a decision. So you got your product already. Make a decision. Is it going to be around community Somalia? If it's not, stop that conversation, because it's going to confuse clarity. I work a lot with clairaudient people. And the thing I do the most is bring in this intellect, and as well as being able to get out of that, so that you have a clearer stream of consciousness that is going to be talking from a grounded place, because a big vision that stays out will always want to go out to that vision. And hey, I do it lots. And if you're going to work the Somalian, that's a really, really big subject. And I've seen beautiful what Katrina Katerina, beg your pardon, off suggested before, the cultural aspect. I've seen white people going to, we're going to fix it. Here's a problem we're going to fix, without actually doing some self-reflection first, is going, what is it inside me that has that need to reach over into someone else's world? Especially when you said, I don't like anybody telling me what to do, when you're going into a culture that you really have no idea what it's really about, and you're going to do exactly the same thing of what you don't like happening to you. And I'm not saying this is a criticism. I'm just saying it's really important for us to address our own arrogance when we're walking around, because our love then gets misheard in such a sad way and misunderstood. You've got this beautiful product. If it is going to be about breastfeeding, which bless you, right? Bless you. I put my sons through the Steiner education, breastfed, and I feel really privileged. But we actually really don't have the right to dictate to someone else as well, because there's a lot of reasons. It's, as you know, it's a big subject. It's a big call. There's bodies, there's hormones, there's so much involved with that. If we go too big and just make it too generalized, you may just lose the people that you really have this opportunity to just hold really well, carry them really well, and just help them onto that next step, and keep it really, really, really simple. 1 or 2 people, know your market. So I've trained on competitive intelligence for a long time ago. Know your market. Who is your market? If it's cultural people, then you need to be partnering with their elders in that culture. You need to understand, and they may say, hey, we've already got something on, and you go, right, if this helps, it's available. This ability to cross speak and cross pollinate is a really beautiful, beautiful thing. But us to go in as a hero can be really, really, really dangerous and completely annihilate your soul in the process. I've seen it. I mentor on it all the time. So my love for you and everybody and all of us here is to do what moves our soul, not what our head thinks we have to do. And as your soul is moved in that spectrum, being really, really clear, who do I really want to move, and what is the real core aspect? And it might be this connection that people have with their baby, and that starts to build on the strength and the strength and the strength and the strength and the strength, because it's a really tiring process. And that feels like that's enough. So I hope some of that's helped. Thank you.
Thanks, Jules.
Thank you so much. My soul heard that. Thank you.
Thanks, Jules. All right, Nat, how are you feeling? I'm just conscious that we're gonna have to time-wise shift over to Adam and Kate in a sec. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling very reflective of my own actions and my own thoughts too. Jules had really good observations, you know, when we don't like to be told what to do and others don't like to be told what to do. But sometimes they just miss the insights into the importance of why we should be doing what we're doing. I guess that's kind of, I'm trying to break through that. You know, I don't want to tell you what to do, but I want to show you what's possible, or what our instincts in our species are really meant to do. And here's how our environments and society have things set up to sever as many of that connections as possible. Because the Western medicine model and pharmaceutical industries want sick, miserable people, because that makes them money. They do not want happy, thriving, healthy, joyful people, because that doesn't make them any money. And so I can just see all the ways that they just try to make the babies as miserable as possible, sever the connections and the bonds with the mothers as soon as possible and as much as possible, because then their system makes more money. So it's just like to have the insights brought into young women's minds, so that they understand, if they're going to bring a new life into the world, what is really the most natural, easiest way to do that, to just see the bigger picture of that. So I guess that's just, I don't know, bubbling up in me as I'm sitting here.
Amazing. I think every entrepreneur knows what it feels like to put their idea out, get feedback, and then have the existential crisis about how to represent the idea. And I just want to say, Nat, if this was the first time you've ever, set out to really formulate in a proper presentation, the passion you have, the vision you have to communicate, the how of how you want to go about presenting that to the world and engaging with people, it's a really brave thing to do. And it's an iteration that is endless, actually. And it's just about, getting better and better and clearer every step of the way. And so my challenge to you, so amazing job. My challenge to you is, if we were to ask you in 30 days time to represent it, what can you take away from this call? Integrate, formulate that clarity in an even more solidified way, and then represent it to us in a month's time. I would be seriously curious. And then also, of course, we've heard you in that speaking opportunities, to talk about some of these challenges, maybe with the sensitivity that Jules and Kat have spoken to in this call in mind. We can definitely all keep that at the forefront of our thinking for you.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea because I already have formulated a few more like larger vision of how to help people understand what's happening on this planet and how we can experience more love on the planet. And so I can already see it. I can already like see how I'd switch a few things in my presentation. And this is the first time that I've presented this to anybody on Earth.
Amazing job. The last thing I'll share is something a mentor shared with me very early on when I was very angry at the health system, and that was it's far more powerful to stand for something than against something, and to really focus on what you stand for and let the people that want to follow you into that vision, let them see you as the inspirer and not as the frustrated informer, which we can often be when we're going against things all the time.
Thanks for sharing that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great insight.
Yeah. Love it. All right. You guys.
Us guys?
Yes.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Kate.
We won't tell you anything. We'll show you our presentation. First off, I mean, this is such a cool group. Like, I can't help but think that we've been on our journey in this for 5 years, and it's come in drips and droves because boy from New Jersey, girl from Russia, meet on a bridge in the middle of Florence, Italy, yada, 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 fall in love, have a big idea, jockeying opposite sides of the world, political affiliations or whatever, pandemics. It's been a really wild ride, and I'm excited for you, Nat, because it's really like, just like everyone said, it's so good to be able to, very brave. It's really fucking hard to do, pardon my French, in any level, and you only get better by constantly refining and constantly explaining and getting questions and putting answers and changing the graphic. And what we're going to show you in a second, telling you nothing, like literally has taken like 5 years to put together, and it doesn't mean it needs to take that long for you, because if we had a group like this 5 years ago, maybe it would have taken 3. Anyway, I'll do a screen share here, and I hope it works. And stand by, share, and then we can do the questions thing. Hold on, how do I click play now is the question. See, everyone has their troubles with these darn things.
You got the play button literally just on the far left.
Yeah, but it's not showing here. Far left, it's so weird. Screen share. Oh, maybe because does anyone see my screen? No.
Mhm.
Yeah, you
Yep.
just have to press the play button in the lower left corner of the video.
Yep.
Lower left corner of the video, there's a little arrow.
Up a little bit and to the left.
Yeah, I can't get to my door. Oh, here we go. Okay, here we go. Okay.
Volunteering is about to become even more.
Stand by. We might just hit pause for a second here so I can turn off the phone. See, it never goes. We presented at a Rotary Club where we live here about a month and a half ago, and like the audio did not work, and it was, the audio works now. So you can all see this. Thumbs up.
You
All
got
right,
it.
here we
Yes.
go.
Volunteering is about to become even more rewarding. Hi, I'm Adam,
And I'm Kate,
and we're the co-founders of Karma Hub.
the heart of giving back. Karma Hub is a startup that brings volunteers, nonprofits, and businesses together in a mutually beneficial economy for good.
Whenever we talk to passionate volunteers or someone who works for or runs a nonprofit, we always hear about the same core issues. First and foremost, we need more volunteers. There's homes to be built, mouths to feed, and a planet to save. But it's hard to find volunteers and even harder to retain them.
Also, we need a better way to volunteer. Existing methods of volunteering are outdated, episodic, and often fail to incentivize repeat volunteering.
I mean, there's a lot of good out there. People want to volunteer, but they don't know where to start. Businesses want to give back too, but they don't know how or if their contributions will even be impactful.
Meanwhile, nonprofit organizations are actively tackling the world's biggest problems, but they're often short-handed and without the resources they so desperately need.
So what if we could align everyone's efforts? What if we can amplify the missions of our nation's 1.8 million nonprofit organizations by universally incentivizing the act of volunteering?
Karma Hub reimagines what it means to give back by connecting volunteers and nonprofits with the union of businesses who have pledged to thank them 1% at a time.
Did you know that roughly 1 in 5 Americans volunteer? And together they serve almost 7 billion hours on behalf of our nation's nonprofits each year. From soup kitchens to nursing homes, from dog shelters to beach cleanups, volunteers make all the difference to organizations who aren't just talking about change, but are leading the charge when it comes to making the world a better place.
What if we could do something with all that good? What if we could harness those hours and turn them into thank yous provided by our favorite brands who have plenty of extras that often go unused?
Did you know that over 30% of hotel rooms go unoccupied each night, or that upwards of 20% of airline seats fly empty each day? And speaking of seats, my goodness, hundreds of millions of tickets to sporting events, concerts, and shows go unsold each year.
What if we took those extras and turned them into thank yous? What if there was a new way for businesses of all shapes and sizes to give back in a systematic, universal, and amplified way?
Well, we have the solution, and we call it the Karma Hub ecosystem.
In a nutshell, here's how it all works. Each hour of volunteering at any Karma Hub certified nonprofit organization is rewarded with a digital Karma token, worth around $10, depending on the location of your volunteering.
Karma tokens can be combined in unlimited amounts for huge discounts on everything from big ticket items to everyday purchases, from plane tickets to pizza, from car rentals to shows, from groceries to streaming services. Karma tokens can be redeemed at any sponsored business or can be donated to causes in the Karma Farm, where volunteers' collective efforts are amplified and grown.
Let's take a look at Pete's Pizza for a quick example. By joining the Karma Hub ecosystem, Pete has pledged to match up to 1% of his previous year's gross sales as coupons redeemable at his existing point of sale. By pledging just 1%, Pete's Pizza effectively sponsors 100 hours of volunteering each year, all while drastically increasing his customer base and amplifying his already socially conscious marketing efforts. And the cost for him to do so? Well, it's next to nothing.
Whenever Karma tokens are redeemed at the point of sale, a fee of 1% of the value of the tokens are automatically paid to Karma Hub. That means if Pete honors the entirety of his 1% pledge, giving away $1,000 of pizza, sandwiches, and sodas over the course of the year, he would pay Karma Hub a fee of $10 to be a part of the Karma Hub ecosystem.
Imagine the impact of businesses of all shapes and sizes doing the same in union. How many Pete's Pizzas are out there that would do the same without hesitation? Just imagine what entire sports leagues and national chains could do. Imagine the for-profit industry supporting the nonprofit industry in a way that brings everyone together for the greater good.
So how can you help today? Head to karmahub.app to register as a volunteer, nonprofit, or sponsored business. It's obligation-free, and when the Karma Hub ecosystem is ready for launch, you'll be among the first to have full access to the platform.
Thank you for your time and your consideration.
We hope that you will join us in our mission to change the world by building a greater good 1% at a time.
For more information on Karma Hub and how it all works, head to karmahubecosystem.com.
So that's our little thing. Thank you.
Congratulations.
In our spare bedroom here, we live in Playa del Carmen, Mexico, temporarily, and that's
Volunteering is about to become
still-
even more
still
important.
streaming here.
Economics 101. Karma tokens
There's
explain.
always something playing. Pause. So, you know, we're very bootstrapped. We may look super buttoned up, but we're still pursuing funding. We have a laundry list of problems, but it's exhilarating, and we've been consistent with it. And you know, if you chip away at things, you could at least make it make sense, I guess is where we're at right now. So we'd love to field any questions you may have about it or us or anything in between.
As always, I have 100, but I'm gonna hold my tongue and wait to see if
I'll
anyone.
put a link to our main website in the chat so you all can check it out. And our wait list is up. We're at the wait list phase, so we're figuring out where our financing is coming from and building an MVP, a minimum viable product. So this is like talking to developers and like haggling over, like we're talking to India for developers. It's very like it's MacGyvering things for those of you who grew up in the 80s or early 90s. It's being resourceful and hacking things together. Well, what I was saying is we have a little 2-bedroom here in Playa del Carmen, Mexico, because we're waiting immigration paperwork to come through for the past 2 years during the pandemic, and we've had the space to operationally pursue this, fortunately, and work our day jobs and I go back to the States. And I'm from the concert and live event production industry for many years, so it's been a ride. But yeah, that's where we're at. I just talk a lot. So questions?
Well, I think it was a fantastic presentation. I'm really impressed with the quality of it. I'm curious how close you are to being operational in the Bay Area. What my partner was actually suggesting to me just last month that we find some place to volunteer together. So I'm just curious, how close are you to being operational?
Things go, thank you for asking, and thanks for the compliments. If things go well, we'll have a working beta and regional tests in the early fall. So we're doing major cities, New York, Los Angeles, Miami, New York, Austin, Houston, Chicago, Nashville. So these are the kind of markets we're tipping into. So it really depends on how our wait list goes. Our whole strategy is predicated on really going from the ground up. Like, sure, we could pursue like Walmart to agree for this or some huge company, but it starts at the grassroots level, like so many things. We know that the Chamber of Commerce's in the towns across America and the Rotary clubs globally and things like that are kind of where action starts. So, we know that in order for us to get big, we got to get everywhere. And we got to have, at that level, that regional level, have, coalitions of people who say, well, this makes sense. Why aren't we doing it? And that's kind of where we're at with the folks involved, but we're still a long way away. So, but that's,
Are you choosing, Adam, are you choosing your beta test partners already?
Yeah, we're in the process of like, really just now we've had a lot of casual conversations, but like when it comes to like, just processes and getting the forms right. Like if you go to our website now, if you register, you should get an email that bounces back. And like, it's a lot of these little micro steps to build a wait list. And you know this, Nick, doing the same thing for yours. I'm sure others have gone through similar things, and you get to this very scary point or people are actually going to look at what I'm trying to do and not just talk about it. Yeah, that's kind of where we're at with that, but it's the process.
Amazing.
Timmy just nodding his head. What's Timmy got to say?
So I was friends with a human optimization coach, man, and he was saying that, like if the world just slept 10% better, if 10% of the world just slept 10% better at night, like how the extreme exponential improvements that would have on society of being a little less angry at red lights when we're driving to work, or how we could be able to have more difficult conversations at work, and just like the benefit of a benefit, and like the exponential blessing of a blessing. And I just think that you have such it's like, dude, this is the bridge the world needed, man. Like where the for-profit, the nonprofit, we come together in the ecosystem, like where all beautiful things happen. And I just think that how you guys are talking about the greater good and making the world better 1% at a time is like, dude, that 1%, bro, is gonna have 100% blessings every single time. So I just think like it's beyond realistically implementable, and that like, dude, the world would love to see it happen whenever you want.
That's really great words. Thanks, man. It's not the first time people have been like, hey, we can just give 1% better, give back, get back, but like it does take a system. So we know the desire is there, and what we're going to find out in the next few months is like, does it actually work? Is this bizarre brain that I've cultivated through various experiences through life, like, is it engineered correctly? Is all this? But like, I think more than anything, what you're saying is people have an active, it's a responsibility. It's a calling, and like, what's 1%? Like any way you slice it, So yeah, we're eager to see what happens. And like, the world is not a broken place. That's the thing. There's in America. Here's some wild statistics. 2.5% of the entire global economy is accounted for and depending on volunteering. Like GDP, it's crazy. Like the amount of like, and then you go into like the unpaid female economy, especially in Southeast Asia and India. It's like, we have a much bigger vision on top of this, but like anything you got to walk, you can crawl. So like, we have a big ass MVP. And it's like very difficult to get the people who we've managed to get on board with this. Like we've somehow assembled a team in the past couple of years of people who show up for meetings every week. We haven't paid anybody anything. And it's like all bootstrapped and goodwill. And like, like, how are we doing? It's just been nuts. And like, we're very grateful to have like, have the time and space to like do this together. Cause like, how many times are you like, I got a great idea, but like, life doesn't allow it. We made a choice during the pandemic to be like, I'm not letting there were 3 countries we could go to as Russian and American during the pandemic: Mexico, Turkey, and Egypt. We lived 2 months in Turkey back during the peak of the pandemic, and Mexico has been our temporary home. We have our firstborn on the way in a couple of months. Like, life's crazy, but it doesn't slow down. But that's also like the inspiration for people like get up, give back, and like just give it a shot. Hi, Joanne. Good to see you. the star from a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, it's been a real trip, and we're excited to see what happens. So sign up for our wait list. Tell your friends. Thanks.
So, you know, Steve, and hi everybody. Yeah, super good presentation, and what a compelling proposition. I'm here in Australia, and I'm curious about how I might get involved. I used to work for a large corporate, and you know, one day a year, everybody had an opportunity to go and do some kind of social contribution, and that was part of the DNA of the organization. So I can see this has got real carriage. So where are you prototyping this, and how could I in Australia participate other than just, you know, signing up and stuff?
Well, our prototype has been a lot of conversations with their advisors. I'm kind of chief architect, like I have a weird background. I was a carpenter and a bartender, and then I worked in like major television and film for like 15 years. And Kate, my wife, is this random woman next to me. She's a linguist, a translator, philosopher. We came together, and it was kind of the meeting of the minds, and development has been like an arduous process because there's so many things to consider, and we're barely even there. Like, I've engineered the whole back end of it in my novice approach. I am not a developer. I've learned things that I never fathomed I would learn. Basic WordPress websites, how to do forms, email, like all this dumb stuff that I'm like, someone else, I got to pay someone else to do this. Well, I don't have money, barely money to feed myself right now. So I guess I got to do it myself. And it gives a whole new meaning to bootstrapping. How could you get involved? I mean, we're looking for allies, like our for legal reasons, and just because it's like it involves like the whole system is predicated on the fact that the United States is a really strong nonprofit system in terms of its transparency and the processes it takes to actually get 501c3 certification, and the documentations that we really are appealing to about 80% of the nonprofits who fit the mold, who submit certain requirements, who are actually tax exempt, who track their volunteers. So we're aligning with existing systems that even like the government. We're not the government. We're an independent thing, but we're using existing systems to kind of leverage and put the trust mechanism of like, hey, I spent years and a lot of money and time becoming an executive director of a nonprofit of a cause I believe in. So I'm not going to screw it up by lying on a form that I have to submit to the government. That we, for just like opportunities, like a nonprofit organization creates events in our platform. It's like Yelp for nonprofits. Like, we do reviews on that page. You can make a reservation to volunteer in the organization. We put the paperwork, the incorporation paperwork, the type of hours, the type of service work they do, like on a profile page. So people could really have the opportunity to volunteer, because people, it's just like in the video, everyone wants to volunteer more. No one knows where to start. Imagine filling out your profile and being like, I like to walk dogs on Tuesdays in Chicago, and getting a notification on your phone on Monday night being like, hey, you have a dog walking opportunity tomorrow for 3 hours. And in a month, you earned like $500 credit on United Airlines just because you like walking dogs and getting back to your neighborhood. You know, it's like, why not? Like, we get a lot of this like, well, it's never been done before. We're like, well, people didn't walk on the moon before, but you know, some things gotta be done. Like, we can all get along. We can figure it out if we have a consistent system that does not play favorites. We don't charge lower transaction fees for bigger companies to join. We don't make exceptions. Minimum wage being anchored to it. So to kind of go on that question, when will it come to international markets? When we get aligned with what the legal system for volunteering is in international markets, that level, and that's just resources. Australian lawyers is the short answer. But if there's accountability in the structure, and there's state wages that are congruent to the geography and the location where volunteers do their acts of service, well, that counts. And we're asking businesses to say en masse, I trust these people who put their life's effort into doing good without the need for profit, to say, yes, this person to help, they were added to my cause, and here's a discount. You know, it'll probably less about the 1% and more just like really instead of a cryptocurrency, think of them as crypto coupons, universal crypto coupons. Is kind of the mechanics of it. Verbose answer, but I hope that helps.
This was my question to you both. Have you considered in your roadmap how you might build this through tokenization rather than sort of using smart contracts instead of the tediousness of old world technologies to bring this to life?
I'm glad you asked. I haven't even showed you the full deck yet. It's completely reliant on blockchain and smart contracts. It's all those, it's little micro executions, translation, What that
Yeah.
means, this good deed is basically held in escrow until the volunteer says, yes, I certify a volunteer. The nonprofit says, yes, I did this. And the
You
company
gotta
says,
lead
yes.
with this, man. You gotta lead with this. This needs to be at the front. This needs to be at the front of your presentation. You need to say, you know, all of the amazing stats that you presented. This is the brevity of volunteering in our world, and we're moving out of an old system and into a new system. And there's no competitors that are pioneering what volunteering looks like. This statistic that 2.5% of the American economy relies on volunteering is globally, there you go, is a wildly compelling statistic. And that's what if I was pitching Karma Hub, I would be leading with that. And then I would be positioning yourselves as really on the leading edge of revolutionizing how this looks as we move into a new, move into an entirely new system. Because I can really see how the ease of using blockchain in this ecosystem would really bring sort of some serious value economically.
Yeah, that's spot on. And like, that's really how we're using it too. Like whenever we discuss this with anybody, we're like, take everything you know about business and kind of flip it on its head. Like blockchain is like meant to be like secure and private. Like we're flipping it and we're like, well, we have an open blockchain. So like, you'll be able to see like a business who redeems the Karma token is like, cool, this came from Amy S, like anonymous, who walked dogs in Ohio. So like, I know that Walmart sponsored an hour of volunteering in Ohio. Like you can really get a picture of like who, like, so there is like data in it, like data is everything, but like it's for the good. And if we keep it transparent and accountable, because the beauty of blockchain, people who don't know it, if it gets compromised, it flags it. Like if someone is fraudulent in it and these little contracts, these little micro agreements about how the deal works, it's like, every person, if you're a volunteer, you make a deal with the nonprofits and the business. If you're a business, you make a deal with the volunteers and the nonprofits. So everyone has a kind of a deal with each other and Karma Hub itself. And when all those conditions are met, that's when, so it's like utilizing all these modern technologies like Uber for geo proximity-ish stuff and like Venmo and QR codes. And it's like a whole hodgepodge of like the best parts of everything to like, just like, let's try something new. Everyone's complaining that like we need a new system, a new this, a new that. Well, why don't we try amplifying what nonprofit, selfless people are doing every day to make this world a better place without concern over their shareholders or dividend or all this stuff that's so distracting and takes away from our purposes as individuals and as people and causes and companies. So it's high time for it, you know. So we're eager to see what lays ahead. And horrified also, completely scared.
That's a really good opening question too, that why don't we just, instead of making something new, amplify what selfless people are kind of doing in every day without like, or such a regard to shareholder. Like that's such a good mind opening, intriguing, how do I get more of this question?
Spot on. You're hired as an influencer if you'd like.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
We don't have any money. Yeah, but no, it's yeah, thank you. I'm happy that you all see the vision and hopefully you can join and spread the word. And if you have any more questions, put the link in the chat. We're here. We were here 2 weeks ago, a month ago, but 2 weeks ago we had a last minute conflict, but we hope to be here and we love hearing all your stories. And I called you out, Joanne, because you were so inspiring on the first chat. And it was just like a really beautiful moment that this whole thing offers and that Nick's put together. So love out loud, right?
Love out
It's like,
loud.
love is energy.
Joan, you're just on mute. Just click unmute so we can hear. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm listening to you and it sounds like total Greek to me because I am now 86 trying to learn the ways of a computer. But 2 days
Fair
ago, I put my program out there for coaching and I'm just writing it. And I have a set price, but I also included in my offer without changing the price for one-on-one, because I found out the way I was doing it, they would get my program and do it by themselves. They'd pay the money up front and then do it that didn't make sense to me. I'm a person of the heart. I need to be with my people. I need to show them my love. I need to give that expression. So I have a bunch of videos they can watch, but it's not the same as one-on-one. So I just included it in the basic price. So they'll do 2 of the modules on their own, and then we'll set up an in-person. So there are 10 modules, 10 sessions, whatever. And 5 of those will be one-on-one. And it's all about putting my love out loud there. That's what I got out of the time when I came with you last. That's who I am. I love out loud. I gotta do one-on-one. But so that's where I am these days, holding my breath to see who's ever going to call me. Thank you for listening.
All of us, Joan, every 2 weeks. So keep coming. I think it's amazing that you've got a 10 module coaching program. So great. So great. Really a massive achievement. Congratulations.
Joan, do you have like social media presence or anything? Like, how are you marketing it? Just
Oh,
curious.
I put something out there on Facebook, but because I'm not techie, I don't know. Some people, responded to it, but nobody clicked in to take on the program itself. They just thought what I put out there was just the intro, and I showed all the modules, what they were, what they would be working on for those 10 sessions. And it's for grieving women and people, women between, well, in the 50s and 60s, like they've been through a lot of life already. And they're in a very disrupting loss. And I've showed them a way of how to not get lost in the circumstances, but to check in with the pain and what that's about. And then they get to know who they are and reach into their own authenticity and how they can have new life after loss, built on the truth of who they are and that power they have within them. So it sounds like a quantum leap, but doing it through 10 sessions, I thought it was pretty nicely done. And my administrators, and my personal coach that I put out some money I really don't have, it's like borrowed money. But she said, what you did was heroic. I did it so quickly. Didn't seem quickly to me at all. I was writing forever and making scenes and doing videos. And then when it was all said and done, I said, this is not what I want. I want to be with them like I used to be back in the day when I had my little psychotherapy group, So anyway, I'm just having fun with everything. And I just love you people. And even though I don't understand what you're talking about, you sound so alive that alive place in me gets kicked in. Yay. Nonprofit, that sounds good to me. That's how I got my book published, through a nonprofit person, because I couldn't afford the one that you have to give major bucks to edit something. But so there I am. I'm putting my book online, and I'm putting my coaching program online, and let's see what happens. I'll be with you again, bring you up to.
Joan, do you want to give us your Facebook link so that we can follow you?
Say that again.
You want to give us your Facebook link so that we can follow you?
Oh, yeah. How do I give you my link? What do you mean?
So you go to your profile on Facebook, and then in the URL, the actual, I'm literally gonna share my screen and show you. It might be easier. So this is what you're gonna do. You go to Facebook, and
yeah,
go to your profile. So it's on your profile, and then you here, and you copy it. So you right click and copy it, and then you paste it like this.
You mean you people just can't go to Facebook and find me there on your own and look for my name?
You can do that too. Yeah.
Facebook has a surprisingly awful search function. It's weird, right?
That's so fast.
I'm sure we can organize that, Joan. Sorry.
I don't know if I could do it from mine, you can't do it from your end for me.
Okay, yeah, I
Send me
can
your last name, Joan, and I can try looking it up for you. What's your last
Okay.
name?
McDermott. MC capital DERMOTT.
OTT. MCDERMOTT.
Yes, I go by, sometimes it's Rosemary Joan McDermott. I use my middle name since I was an infant. My mother, the Italians wouldn't say Rosemary, they say Rosa. So she called me Joan. So I've been Joan all my life. I come to California, they say you have to have Rosemary on your license. They screwed me all up. So, so look for Rosemary Joan McDermott.
And it's Rosemary, Rosemary.
Yes, that's my first name. And then my middle name is Joan. So I'm either under R Joan or whatever.
I've got you here. I'll share it in the comments right now for everyone. There we go, guys. Give her a follow.
Yeah, click on through. John, thank you. Adam and Kate, thank you.
This is so exciting to me. Are you kidding? Honestly, I don't know what I'm doing electronically, but I'm having all kinds of fun learning.
That's the main thing. That's the main thing.
Yeah, loving out
listen,
loud.
loving out loud, that's it. As long as we're having fun doing it and it's, you know, changing one life at a time, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Joan, thank you. Adam and Kate, amazing presentation. I'm super personally curious to hear and see if you've got a version of your deck that speaks to the build out for the blockchain, if you've got some forecasted costs of what that's going to take for you to bring that to life. Yeah, there might be people I can think of that would be interested in this. Also, I'm just remembering that you never sent me your deck, so make sure you send me your deck.
Indeed, we'd love to. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. And you know, guys, one of the things I've been sitting here reflecting on, and I know we're 15 minutes over time, so we're going to wrap up in just a minute, but getting the opportunity, the privilege to be able to listen to some of your ideas, it's really supporting me and the team, you know, Vic and Cass who are with us here as well, to understand the needs, maybe the access points that would be most beneficial for the ideas in this community. And the way that we really see it is Love Out Loud has this greater vision to actualize a civilization of love, and all of the businesses that the entrepreneurs within our community ideate is a really big part of that. So I'm very interested in building an ecosystem that can genuinely support, you know, on all fronts, success in the community. Eventually, I'd love Out Loud to have its own fund. And Masterheart, which is our kind of signature program for entrepreneurs, I really want to tailor the content within that program to equip entrepreneurs to understand the radical transformation we're going through right now technologically, because I think one of the biggest risks businesses face is there's serious innovation happening in every sector right now. And unless we're equipped to adapt and build systems that are aligned with where we're going technologically, a lot of amazing ideas and amazing entrepreneurs are not going to have the platform and the leverage to get the impact and influence they deserve. So whatever we can do to really bring that training, bring that insight. I'm really curious, maybe Cass, we can send out a poll above and beyond Masterheart. What are some of the topics you really want to explore in these sessions? Is it preparing to understand how to bring AI into your companies? Is it understanding blockchain? Is it understanding tokenomics? What are the things that would really support the entrepreneurs in our community to future-proof and also recession-proof their businesses? I will do everything within my means to make sure that intelligence is directly coming to you guys in the most suitable way, if that's of benefit. Cool.
So exciting.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. You know, it's us, people that have their hearts in the right place, that I think, you know, gone are the days where it's going to be okay to see people who have their heart in the right place and people that are money driven and power driven sitting on opposite sides of the spectrum. We need to bring power and love together. And a part of power is understanding influence. And a part of understanding influence is being really clear and informed and pragmatic around how we bring ideas to the world. And I've raised this community for many years, you know, and one of the intentions of relaunching this was to really up-level the quality of entrepreneurship in this community. Because what's going to take Love Out Loud's impact to the next level are business leaders and people in positions of influence and power that want to see a more loving world. And that's an ongoing journey, right? I was having this conversation in a meeting yesterday. There's two kinds of power. There's power and control, and there's power and love. So yeah, we need to be the ones that rise to power with loving hearts. And that also means that our businesses' bank accounts and our strategies should be reflecting that level of power. I'm a huge stand for that. We just need to fuck off any of the shame or resistance around really claiming the power that we need, to make this serious shift happen on the planet, because the singularity that is inevitable, not probable, inevitable, can really look two ways. It can look massively utopian, where AI is benevolent and it decides that it wants to solve all environmental issues and illness within the human population and do all the dangerous jobs that we don't want to do. Or there's a much more dystopian version of that. And the reality is it's completely outside of our control, really. So the best we can do is elevate our consciousness to a place where we're projecting a loving version of that story to the best of our ability, and know our gifts as human beings to affect change on the planet. So that's sort of my 2 cents. I felt compelled to share some of that because that's part of my personal why. And just continue to remind you guys, if there's entrepreneurs in your networks that aren't yet connected in to us, and these conversations could be a benefit to them, a space that maybe they don't have or haven't had but really need. It's this is a real open invitation. That's something we're going to continue to serve our community with. Just pausing there. Any questions before we wrap up on that, or shares or things that come to mind that would be really of value?
Is it cool if I go next week, or like the next time?
You want to pitch?
Yeah, I would love to.
So our next fortnight, we were going to explore artificial intelligence, but what we can do is open up the next fortnight, if you guys would like, to another 2 or 3 pitches that following session. And if that's what you would like to do, definitely get in touch with Cass sooner rather than later, so that we can put you on the list to pitch. But absolutely, Timmy.
Timmy, I already put your name down on the list for whichever next pitch think tank we have. So don't worry, you're on there.
Thank you so much. Yeah, nowhere. However your schedule operates, just operate at that schedule. I'll come in whenever.
Amazing. And one of the things we're going to be exploring and going through in quite thorough detail in Masterheart is how to put a pitch together and how to communicate all of the things a pitch needs to communicate with clarity and conviction. So if you listen today and you thought, wow, I really want to be able to do that, I'm not quite at a stage where I know how to, please consider joining us. Cass, did you want to just give a bit of a plug on the dates and the process and the wait list for these guys?
Yeah. Let me see if I can pull up here. So Masterheart, it will be coming up next month from Friday, or April 14th to the 16th. If you're in PST time or North America, if you're in Australia, that will be the 15th to the 17th. We have the wait list. I'll see if I can grab the link here and share it to you, but if not, it will come into your inbox tomorrow, so you can get more details there. Registration opens up for Masterheart next week on Monday. So yeah, if you are super interested, we would love to have you. Definitely just join the wait list, and then you'll get the first opportunity to join Master Hearts coming up in April.
Thank you, Cass. Yeah, so registrations, like full registrations aren't open, but definitely jump on the wait list and you'll be the first to be informed. Again, this is really a container where people with really important ideas for the world can learn the things that they need to learn to bring it to life. We're so passionate about that, so consider it. Otherwise, we'll see you in 2 weeks. We'll send out the official title to you guys in the coming days. Other than that, stay connected in our Telegram group. We love you. And yeah, I'd love to just close the space by hearing maybe 1 or 2 reflections of something that you're going to be taking away from today's conversation. Maybe someone we haven't heard from yet. Jen, you're just on mute.
I'm just so honored to be here, and I just see like a beautiful golden thread undercurrent of people stepping into their empowerment, and I can feel like the space that you create here, Nick. It's a beautiful evolution, and the vibration I just feel is really high, and it just looking around and hearing everyone has something so powerful to be here for. And yeah, I can feel that energy, and just a takeaway, like it's inspirational. Yeah.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you. Co-created. Okay, one last share. Come on.
I'll go. I can second that, Jen. For those of you that were on the call a couple of weeks ago, would have witnessed me like getting really emotional because of the power of, you know, the love that was coming out of my screen when I shared where I was at with my startup. And since then, it's just been a hugely transformational experience. So much so that I even manifested Nick in a cafe in Burleigh on the Gold Coast, and we got to catch up IRL, which is cool. And I'm now certain that I'm going to make the move to San Francisco. So just to get amongst people who see me for, you know, who I am. And yeah, this has been like hugely important to me. So I really appreciate everybody's love. And I got to connect with Stephen and a couple of other Love Out Louders. So I'm just, yeah, really feeling the love and can testify to what Jen just said as an example of the vibration that is, yeah, that is Love Out Loud. So thank you so much to everyone.
Our synchronistic catch up was deeply impactful on me, as you know, so I was very grateful for that conversation. Excited to hear you've officially made the decision to move to the Bay. All right. So Love Out Loud's going to be running some proper in-person events as soon as I'm back. So probably early May. I've got a community member over there already sussing out all of the different details to bring some community together in real life. So
perfect. Happy to help as well. I've got event planning. I've got lots of different skills and the time and space to assist. So
yeah, we're gonna have a little army taking over Silicon Valley.
And I've been in the East Bay for about 20 years, and I know a lot of the conscious event spaces, and to ever want me to help you connect with people, reach out.
That would be awesome.
Amazing, so great. So last thing I will say is I think there was a bit of a mix-up, well, not mix-up, but confusion with the time. So AEDT is Sydney, Melbourne time, AEST is Queensland time. One's been in daylight saving, the other hasn't. But as of our next call, everyone will be out of daylight saving. So can I confirm, Cass, that this time is the time we will be doing the calls every fortnight?
Yes, absolutely.
So it's 1 p.m.
Yes, 1 p.m. and then 7 p.m. still
Yes.
Pacific Standard Time, correct? Perfect.
Cool.
Awesome. We're good.
Good. All right. Blessings, everyone. Go forth. Love out loud.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.